Hello everyone, live from New York. Welcome to another episode of the IWillAim podcast. Our topic for today is smart cities and Sunil's trip to Davos. Welcome Sunil.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it.
I suppose we'll kick it off with a quick introduction.
Absolutely. Will, when you said live from New York, I was so tempted to say it's Saturday night, but we're almost there. Almost Saturday. But anyway, my name is Sunil Kasuba. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here in New York with you. Yes, so I run a couple different things. I run a company called Smart Talent AI. We're a hybrid AI consulting firm / talent acquisition firm where we help place AI talent into companies, small to medium-sized businesses primarily, and smart cities and cities primarily around the world. And the other aspect of my role, I serve as a global advisor and the North America regional lead for the Smart Cities Council. And the Smart Cities Council is a global organization that is headquartered in Switzerland, however has teams and networks all around the world. And what we do as the council is basically we operate as a hub and spoke kind of model. The hub meaning, we have networks of, smart city personnel, city leaders, mayors, and then we have startups like mine that help provide services to cities. We have technologists, those from Silicon Valley. So we have a conglomeration of things because that's what exactly smart cities is, right? Like smart cities is not what we used to think about it as, which was strictly technological and like who has the latest and greatest IoT devices around in every block. It's more than that. It's making cities more livable, right? Making people live like here in New York, making it the most livable city in the world. That's the goal, right? So we're looking at many different pillars when we talk about smart cities, especially at the council. We're talking about not only technology, we're talking about education access. We're talking about access to health facilities, access to parks, access to clean air, access to culture, arts. These are all things that encompass an urban community, right? So that's what I am also helping support, and happy to talk more about that with you, Will.
Well, thank you for that intro. I really want to talk more about Davos too. But let's continue with Smart City. For the things that you could share, because some things you can't share, what are the key projects that you're working or you're noticing across all the cities that you're collaborating with?
What I could say is, so I'm working with a city directly at the moment and putting together a couple projects for a couple other cities. One thing that we're all noticing is that cities, like a lot of big corporations, operate in silos, unfortunately, right? So they're collecting a lot of data on a lot of the things I just mentioned, right? That help its citizens live in a city with clean air and clean streets, have happier lives. But they're operating with data siloed depending on the departments that are collecting the data, depending on the way the city operates, of course. So what my company has been doing is helping the city, for example, out in California, just to give an example, help streamline that data from different departments that are not speaking to each other. Ironically, now they are speaking to each other because they have this third outside company, my company, come in and asking them to communicate with each other, and then bringing all that data into one streamlined database so that decision makers can make more efficient decisions because they have a lot more data at their fingertips versus the way it is now where it's all siloed. So that's one thing that I'm seeing, a lot of segregation of data. So that's definitely one thing that I'm seeing from a lot of cities. The other thing I would say is just city leaders and communities not having enough forums to have an open dialogue about what their challenges are, right? So I think city leaders often sit in their own spaces, and I'm not saying it's not warranted, but just given the situation, often they're not getting clear feedback from their citizens on what exactly is impacting their daily workflows, like their daily lives, right? Where it is that, whether it's a traffic issue or whether there's sewage issues or plumbing issues or potholes, so I think pothole issues. So I think that's the other thing that I'm noticing quite a bit. There's a breakdown in communication between city leaders and its citizens. I don't think this is earth-shattering or rocket science. Everyone knows this is a massive challenge, right, in every city in the world, essentially. But I think these are the things that are coming through to fruition, and I think this is where AI can help quite a bit if used appropriately. And this is what my company and the Smart Cities Council does. It helps break down those barriers, helps bring in city leaders and meet startup owners, meet technologists, meet environmentalists, meet those with solutions to help, this collection of data and make the data more actionable so that they can enact policies to help citizens live better lives.
I love the fact that you mentioned forum, because that is extremely powerful when you're able to get people who represent different city to be able to come together and share not only their success but their challenges.
Absolutely.
Because often, like you said, the pattern is every city have this similar problem, and creating that forum enabled them to solve problem quickly in a more cohesive fashion, because you're taking the collective knowledge of all the city experts. Correct. Right? And the other part is using AI in the data front. Right now you have not just my local community, my data, and my data could be skewed one way. And if I compare that with data from different cities, I now have a learning that I probably wouldn't gain.
Exactly.
Right?
Benchmarking.
Yeah, benchmarking and understanding like, oh, they're having that issue. I don't have that yet, but Correct. Why did they have that issue?
Correct.
And they could learn from one another. Thank you for helping them create that community. I would Absolutely. Call it community, and bridging the gap, because that's
on this point of benchmarking. Thanks for raising it. The other thing that I'm also part of with the Smart Cities Council specifically is I'm helping lead their advisory program. So we're going beyond serving as a hub, which is our essential focus, but also providing products and services to cities around the world. So one of the services that we're going to be providing, is going to be a holistic assessment that cities can participate in, and then they can help not only identify goals that they want to set for themselves, just based on the context, but then identify challenges through those assessments, give them a chance to really dig deep into not only what they're seeing from the mayor's office, but also give them the chance to communicate with their citizens on what some of the challenges that they're seeing prompted based on questions that this assessment will make leaders focus on. And based on the information that's collected, then we will be helping lead them to solutions providers that can help solve specific issues. So this is, like you mentioned, forum. This all kind of ties in, because we're not only providing this forum, but we're also providing a lot of actionable data that can be then connected between the city leaders and the startup owners and technologists and what have you. Because otherwise, it's very rare that city leaders have this opportunity to have a direct interface with citizens. And so that's what the council affords.
How do you strike the balance between people complaining versus being productive in moving the needle in the right direction? Because we could get into that situation where people are just coming together, but everyone's just venting. And there's a healthy venting part, right? Mm-hmm. But how do you find that balance?
This is an excellent question, and this is something we all as humans fall into, myself included at times. I think the answer to that question is, so these forums, for example, give that opportunity, give that platform to vent. As you said, is very much needed, right? Others, we're all in a pressure cooker, and if we don't let it out, then it's just gonna come out really in an ugly way, to put it nicely. So what I would say to that is, yes, there's this opportunity to express the thoughts, the challenges. Everyone has their perceptions of what their reality is, right? But I think coupling this with that assessment I was telling you about, it'll really help leaders take action on specific things, and it'll help citizens hold their leaders accountable, because now they'll be like, see, we've voiced what our issues are. You've seen what our main challenges are based on this holistic assessment you've been participating in. Now let's see some actions. Let's see you solve like the top 5 challenges that we've cited now through this forum, right? So I think that's where the goal. Like, we don't want this to become a forum, which naturally could become where people are just venting, because there's enough people that vent. But we need to see action, and that's what I and the council are very passionate about, making sure this is action-oriented, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. Because there's a lot of organizations out there that put out forums, and I've been to several of these forums, but I don't see follow-up. That's what exactly this is. It's a follow-up measure. And maybe this is a good segue into my trip coming up.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing and talking about smart cities and the work that you've been doing. Keep on doing the good work, because you're really adding value. Now I kind of turned the corner a bit to a more exciting topic right now. Davos. You were invited to Davos. I think in my opinion, it's one of those I would say, prestigious event where it's an invitational only and not everyone gets to go. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, no, thank you, Will. That's very nice of you to say it that way. I look at it as it's totally my honor to be getting to go to Davos. It's my first time going, so I'll caveat of it that my understanding is that there's many different Davos experiences one can have at Davos. So I'm looking forward to, first off, representing my company, Smart Talent AI, and going to several different discussions amongst community organizers, community leaders, startup owners, the leaders in the technology field on AI and how AI is impacting different communities around the world. But I'm also going on behalf of the Smart Cities Council, and I'm going to be actually speaking at a couple of different events. I'm hosting a panel, for example, the day after tomorrow in Davos, and it's going to be talking about cities and city enablement using AI and using an assessment to help design a roadmap for cities to transform in this era of AI. I'm very excited about that, and with some of the panels I'll be having, I think we're going to be having these very conversations about opening up the feedback loop, right, between citizens and action and leaders, but then also designing an assessment that'll help lead to action and not just vent. So that's one thing that we'll be touching on quite a bit. And then beyond that, the reason I'm going to Davos is also because I want to meet not only city leaders and mayors, which is very critical, obviously, but I want to meet the people that are actually taking action in their communities, grassroots level initiatives that are taking place in a variety of different countries. I've been invited to go to a couple events at the House of Art Nigeria, for example, one in South Asia, one in Latin America. I'm really looking forward to meeting with some of these young folks that have developed and designed tools to help their cities and communities, thrive when it comes to helping, clean up their streets, for example, help with some sanitation issues that they're dealing with, help with education literacy issues that a lot of communities are facing as well, and how to navigate AI, kind of like what we've been talking about. So I am going with a very open mind to Davos, but also looking forward to participating in a lot of these roundtable discussions around these very topics.
It's amazing how humble you are, because you said, I'm going to Davos to participate, but then you're facilitating a panel.
Yeah, it's an honor to, the way I look at it, it's an honor to even be able to do that too. So,
yeah, to me it's like the next experience, right? The next level of the experience. What would you, going in, you have thoughts that you want to do, and you mentioned you want to connect with other people, with other countries that are doing similar things that you're doing. And so what's the one thing that you think would help move the needle in the right direction as far as like cohesiveness and coming together from all these people that you're going to meet?
I honestly think, this is cliche to say, but I'm going to say it. I want everyone to approach Davos with that same mindset. Be open-minded, listen to people, have respect for everyone's situations. Not everyone's coming in from the same perspective, right? And this is very easy to say, but when you're at these events, it's very easy to get lost and get into your bubble and only talk to people from very similar contexts as you, or from countries that are very similarly geographically and economically positioned as you. So make sure you are going the extra mile or kilometer in this case to make sure you're understanding the perspectives that are coming in from other regions of the world. And that's what I love about international forums with my international work in the past. This is what I love. I love talking to people from all walks of life, doing all kinds of very interesting, notable things when it comes to technology, but also being inspired by people, young folks, older folks, mid-level folks, whoever it is. Just come with an open mind, have open and frank discussions, be very respectful of each other, and come out of it with some action items. Don't just go in and just say, oh, very nice to meet you, and make a LinkedIn connection, and that's it. Follow up on that. And then maybe then you'll get invited to more events around the world. So that's the way I would approach it, and that's what I would say for myself as well.
I think it's important that you highlight, keep an open mind, right? And also focus on just beyond just connecting, especially people, most of the time you go to event, people connect with LinkedIn and that's it. That's the end of it. It's just become a stat, a data. Right. But I love the fact that you talk about establishing action, because how we met is through establishing action.
Exactly.
We met at supposedly at an event, AI 2030. I didn't meet you in person there, but we established action where we stayed in touch.
Correct.
And we continue to communicate, and now we're in person.
Here we are.
Recording a live podcast in New York. What's one lesson you want to share with our community, with my community, as far as like your journey and how you end up with a gift like going to Davos?
I would say in one word, resilience. Have to be resilient. I know, Will, you and I were talking a little earlier. It's very easy to get bogged down by so many things going on around the world, right? But it's so important it's easy to sit here and say this, I 100% understand this, but it's also very important. You have to be resilient, whether it's your career or personal life. Yeah, you're gonna go down, you're gonna get down at times, you're human. I've gone down many times. I've had to go through 3 transitions in my career. Went from government to nonprofit to technology to starting my own business. That didn't come easy, like it took a lot of like resolve and resilience, and you might have been a certain position in your job, but then suddenly you have to start from the ground up again. Like just a quick example, when I was in the government for 12 years, I was in a senior analyst position for a number of years. And then when I wanted to transition out of government and go into nonprofit, because this is the type of work I really enjoy and am passionate about, I took on an internship. And people were thinking I was crazy for doing that. I was in my young 30s or mid 30s at that point. And people were like, you really want to become an intern and work with people like right out of college or in college? I was like, I don't care. I'm here to learn. And sure enough, that was one of the best experiences I ever had. I really learned from my time when I was in Ghana as an intern. And from that experience, I took a lot out of the fact that you can literally learn from anyone. Don't judge anyone just based on their title. And that's another thing I would say about Davos. Like, just because someone's the director of whatever, don't just assume they know certain things or don't know certain things. Go in with an open mind. You don't know where people are coming from. You don't know the trajectory that their career has followed. So I've learned that from my own personal trajectories. That's what I would leave it at. Just be resilient. If life throws you a curveball, obviously take the time to process it, but like don't just sit down, get right back up, get back on that horse and keep moving, because that's life. Life is not a straight up down. It's definitely a roller coaster.
I suppose with that I would say our word for the day is resilient. Right? Our word for the day would be resilient. And I would also say I love the fact that you mentioned and shared your journey, how you have pivoted in not the traditional way. Like often people are just looking to go up and up. Mm-hmm. But it's a perfect lesson for our listener to hear that if you really want something and that experience requires you from going back to the end of another queue, if you want it badly, it's been done.
Yep.
Sunil did it. Sunil showed an example of how you could go back to the back of the queue and fall in line again. But because you're resilient, but because you have a lot of knowledge and gift to provide, you would move up faster. And I think I want people to learn that it doesn't mean when you go back to the back of the queue that it's a setback. It's just a redirection to where you need to be.
That's exactly it. You cannot look at it as a setback. Like I used to do this too. Like I used to judge myself even just based on the title of my job early in my career, and I realized that's just wrong. You can't do that, especially these days. Like I think we're in a very new generation now, and that's why personally as a recruiter, this resonates quite well with me. I can't judge someone based on their resume. Like just because they were a senior engineer for a number of years, that really doesn't tell me much. So like you got to get to know the person.
And I love that you pointed that out, because I spent 33 and a half years in technology in financial industry. And it's interesting. I always tell people, it's not the years of experience, it's the learning that you did as part of that years. Because I met people who are 20 years in their career, but it's 1 year used 20 times. Meaning they stop learning, right?
Yeah.
They stop learning. But if you met a person who's like 5 years into their career, but it's 5 years of learning, that is so powerful, because that person has grown 100%, 100%, 500%, right? Versus a person who learned 1 year and then use it 20 times.
Exactly, and I'll go back to my intern example, right? I think a lot of people out there see the title intern and they feel a certain way about it. And I learned from my own experience, precisely to your point, those years as an intern, arguably you learn way more than you learn as a senior director at a company, right? Because as an intern, there's so much pressure on you as an intern, but you're constantly learning. You have to be learning because that's what an internship is. So, yeah, no, that's exactly right, Will.
And you're on the ground with everyone doing all the work, doing all the grind, right? Like I think it helps you grow and helps you transform. And the way I look at it is, we don't transform because we're comfortable.
No.
We don't. Sometimes people want that, but that's not transformation. Transformation comes from going through experience of pressure, learning. And I always tell people, like I coach basketball for 8 years, and I always tell my players, the pressure is a privilege. Not a lot of people can play the sports that you want. Not a lot of people can be on the same team, right? But you are. And we won like 3 championships out of 8 years. And I said, and we're in finals 5 times, right? We lost 2 of the championship. But I said, every time you step up on the court for a championship game, immerse it. Take it in, right? Don't hold anything back.
Absolutely.
Because you never know when you're coming back.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. And the last thing I'll leave this at is resilience is the number one thing that I would leave all of us with. But the other thing is just go do it. Like if you've been given a role and you're not getting much direction, don't sit back and just wait for the direction to come. Just start doing things. And then when people see that you're proactive and trying to do something, even if that's not the end result they're expecting, they're seeing that you have the resolve and the determination to do it. That will speak volumes to people. And I have personally been hired for jobs not because I was very good at it, it's because they saw that he may not be doing what we're asking at the moment, but we haven't asked him directly of what to do, but he's showing that he is ready to do something. So, and he's being productive. So just take action. That speaks for itself.
That's an excellent point. I love that we're ending our podcast episode with that. If anyone wants to reach out to you, because I'm sure they're going to love this episode, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Sure. First, LinkedIn. Just put my name in LinkedIn, you'll find me. I have a YouTube channel as well, Smart Talent AI, and email is another way. It's sunil@smarttalentai.com. Those are the 3 easiest ways.
Well, Sunil, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor meeting you in person. We spoke many times on Zoom and Teams, but finally to meet you in person and be able to record my first live podcast.
I'm so happy.
I've been doing virtual.
I'm so happy to be part of it.
Back-to-back live podcasts in no better place than New York City.
In New York City, right? This is the city where it's all born. Speaking of resilience and making it on your own, there's no city better than right here in New York.
Thank you very much. I'll give you the parting word. What would your parting word be?
I think the parting word I would have is be optimistic, be open-minded, and, well, while you're here in New York, get some pizza.
Well, thank you, Sunil, for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Will. Take care.